Start a new standard inch assembly file from the English folder. Use the place tool to add the first part to your assembly. It's a good idea to start with a part that doesn't move and that supports most of the other parts. Click to place the part. Unfortunately, it just goes plopped in anywhere. Take a minute and constrain it and ground it. I like to turn on the origin planes and mate my first part on those planes to confirm proper orientation. Using the constrain tool, I'll select the top plane and the bottom face of the part. Click Apply to accept the mate. I'm using a 3D mouse to rotate the view. You'll have to use the view cube in the upper right corner. Next, I use the constrain tool with the YZ plane of the assembly and the YZ plane of my first part. Again, click Apply to accept the mate. To completely nail this part down, I will constrain the XZ plane of the assembly to the XZ plane of the part. Then I'll right mouse click and select Grounded. The base cannot move at all now and is properly aligned with the world, meaning my front view will really be a front view. This is important. Now I can place more parts into the assembly. I will add the wheel and then the end plates. Most of the constraints you will use will be face-to-face and axis-to-axis. Face-to-face places the two selected faces together. Pick on the face of the inside of the holes to get an axis. Pick the axis for both the base and the end parts. Click Apply to accept the mate. Repeat the axis-to-axis constraint on the other hole. Sometimes you will need to rotate the parts to be a little closer to the right direction. Right mouse click on the part and click Free Rotate. Use your mouse to rotate the part to be pretty close to what you want. Repeat the face-to-face and axis-to-axis mates we used on the other end. Use the axis-to-axis constraint to align the wheel hole with the end plate hole. Note, you only need to do this on one side. There will be some clearance between these parts, so you can do the math and add an offset values, but a better approach is to use the planes that are already exist in the parts. That is, if you were smart when you made your part. Add the axle with the place tool. Use the same axis-to-axis and plane-to-plane mates we used on the wheel to center the axle between the ends. You will soon realize why I use symmetry extrude and design my parts to keep the principal planes in the center of them. Place 2 bushings into your assembly. Use the axis-to-axis and face-to-face mates to place the first bushing. We could do these 2 mates again for the other bushing, but Inventor has a special mate for this situation called insert. First, use free rotate to get the bushing somewhat oriented. Change to the insert mate type in the constraint dialog box. Pick the edge of the hole first, then select the edge of the bushing that will rest against the hole. Your assembly is now complete. All of the mates are listed in your catalog tree and can be edited at any time. There are some neat advanced tools like interference detection and contact solver that you will learn about later. Sometimes your assemblies get pretty complicated and hard to see some parts. This isolate trick is very helpful. Right mouse button and click Isolate. You can also set a part to be transparent. The bill of material is very important. It's a good idea for you to start saving your part files with the unique part numbers and adding descriptions to the eye properties of every part.